Howdy friendos, my name is Stuart, and I sincerely hope you guys are enjoying our D&D December marathons. Today we'll be continuing the Cartoon Network part of the marathon with the Powerpuff Girls. Now you may have noticed that the time code on this video is very short compared to the Samurai Jack and Aku videos, and that's because we're only going to be covering the origin movie released in 2002, and not the entire series. And that reason is fairly simple. We just don't have time. And the series itself is kinda samey. The Powerpuff Girls was a superhero animated series created by Craig McCracken back in 1998. The show focuses on three superpowered kindergartners named Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup, who save the world on a regular basis, all before bedtime. In this film, we open with a man named Professor Utonium who wanted to start a family. Because he did not have access to, let's say, the traditional method of making girls, he elected to instead create them from scratch using the traditional ingredients: sugar, spice, and everything nice. However, unfortunately for him, he was disrupted by his lab monkey Jojo, who pushed him into a container of chemical X, which birthed the Powerpuff Girls. Using their ultra superpowers, Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup dedicate their lives to fighting crime and the forces of evil. The draw of the series was the surprisingly violent action on screen and the juxtaposition of three teeny tiny tots beating the crap out of monstrous looking things. Also him! You ever actually look at him? What a creature! The show was not that deep, and the girls' personalities basically come down to the leader, the nice one, and the tough one. Based on their names and surface-level personalities that I've described, you could probably already guess their D&D alignments, but hey, views are views, right? And it's not like I wouldn't be a YouTuber if I didn't cash in on something obvious and popular, especially with cringy calls to action like, pick up that phone and subscribe to the channel. Punch the bell like it's a giant monster destroying the city, and be sure to leave a comment before bedtime. It might not be a school night, but you still need to get plenty of sleep at a decent time. Brush your teeth, clean your room, eat your vegetables, and always do your homework. Also, because we witnessed the literal birth of these girls in this movie, we're going to start their alignments at true neutral, because they literally haven't done anything yet. And with all that out of the way, let's go.
I'm Blossom, Buttercup, and I'm Bubbles!
I think I'll call you Blossom.
When the Powerpuff Girls were born, they came pre-packaged with a bunch of basic knowledge. Chemical X really did do the trick. Once they are named, they wait patiently for the professor to get back from buying their birthday presents. Neutral for all of them, but I'm going to give Blossom a bonus neutral good here since she saved the professor when he tripped and fell.
Okay, girls, now watch me.
After their birthday party, they decorate, do chores, and do normal little girl things. Except with superpowers. Neutral. The next day, they are introduced to kindergarten, and they will do their best to be good students and make friends. Let's go with neutral good. And then the shit hits the fan when they are introduced to tag. With their superpowers, their nearly 8-minute game of tag nearly destroys all of Townsville. Chaotic neutral.
I don't think you should use them in public anymore.
That night, the professor tells the girls that their powers are dangerous to normies, so just like every other Brad Bird movie, the talented have to hold themselves back so that the scrubs like me can maybe keep up. And the girls do that to a T all day. Lawful neutral. Blossom, however, gets an extra lawful neutral for sticking to the plan after the professor gets arrested too, since she's the one that suggested they all walk home.
Did somebody get washed?
And after that, they're accosted by the Gangrene Gang and don't use their powers then either. Fortunately, they are rescued by a mysterious figure. Lawful neutral.
I, Jojo, am a monster.
That mysterious figure turned out to be a monkey named Jojo. I actually wonder what his stand is. Anyway, Jojo asks them for help in constructing a device to help the town. The help the town and make it a better place machine, if you will. The girls do this, not realizing that it's a trick. Neutral good.
Now what do we do?
First, we construct the superstructure.
Once they get Jojo the power source for his machine, they then help him construct his lair and everything he'll need for the help the town and make it a better place machine. Neutral good.
I've got a special surprise.
Afterwards, Jojo rewards them with a trip to the zoo. The girls go along and have a good time. Neutral.
Excuse me, ma'am. I think you dropped this.
Bubbles gets an extra neutral good here for being very sweet. Also, while this isn't technically a big deal, Buttercup helping the professor out of handcuffs when it isn't quite clear that he's been released yet is technically chaotic good, even if we're not sure that she even knows what handcuffs are. Chaotic good.
We did something really good.
Later, the girls show the professor what they've accomplished with Jojo. Unfortunately, he has started taking over the city. Lawful good. Also, just for funsies, I want to knock out any bad faith takes of Mojo Jojo. There's a moment where he says something like,
This isn't making the town a better place!
Yes, it is. For me.
and then there's always a commenter who's like, he's a freedom fighter. And no, Mojo Jojo is a monster who wants to make others suffer and rule the world. The whole point is to make humans' lives miserable. He has no interest in making the lives of apes better. In fact, when the other chemical X-boosted primates start taking command, he gets furious and states that he's the only one worthy. Mojo is chaotic evil, and this isn't a discussion. The girls retreat to outer space and each act in their own special way. Buttercup throws a tantrum and picks a fight while Blossom refuses to engage, while Bubbles quietly cries until they somehow hear the suffering of Townsville from outer space. Which is definitely impossible, but whatever. Chaotic neutral for Buttercup, lawful neutral for Blossom, and neutral for Bubbles. Once the girls realize that the professor is being attacked by Mojo, the girls rush back to town to save him, but then realize that the citizens also need their help. 2 lawful goods for saving everyone.
Get your hands off him, you darn dirty ape!
Buttercup saw a doggy get attacked, so she punched the monkey. Technically, this is the first use of actual force in the movie, which garners Buttercup a chaotic good.
Buttercup! You're a genius!
The girls then realize that violence will literally solve their problem. This is really, really funny because it's kind of presented like the moral of the story. Anyway, the girls start beating the shit out of the monkeys and they stop being a problem. Chaotic good.
Come on, girls, we've got one last monkey to get off our backs!
Rushing off to save your father figure is neutral good.
You actually trying to stop me?
Stopping Jojo here is actually lawful good now, since their full intention of doing so is bringing him to justice for what he's done, and this really isn't personal to them specifically. Although it kinda is since he tricked them earlier, but lawful good for all of them. Extra ding for Blossom for saving the dog here.
Join me.
Mojo Jojo gives the girls one last chance to join his side, but they turn him down. Neutral good. Jojo falls into a vat of Antidote X created by the professor. After he is depowered, the girls are willing to take some of the antidote in order to make themselves normal and fit in with the town. The town tells them no, but the fact that they're willing to try is lawful good.
I was wondering if maybe sometime we could, call you to save the day or whatever.
They are then offered to be part-time town defenders, of course contingent on the fact that it isn't past their bedtime. Defending your hometown with permission from your government and dad is pretty lawful good.
Thus Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup were born!
From then on, whenever monsters appear or a family is under attack or a kitten is stuck in a tree, the day will be saved, thanks to the Powerpuff Girls. Lawful good. This is going to be one of those times where I actually disagree with myself on these videos. Yes, all the girls landed approximately where they're supposed to for this movie, but unfortunately, since the girls tend to work as a team, this video obviously only covers their origin film. The girls all kind of ended up fairly samey, and this is why the alignment system isn't perfect, and it's also why earlier installments of these videos tend to come out at such a slow pace. I try to do my due diligence since I feel it's best to cover their whole lives. Naturally, with the Powerpuff Girls, I only did the movie, so I only did their origin. Blossom, while it says that she ended up here in this video, is most solidly lawful good throughout the entire series. She's the leader and does whatever is best for everyone most of the time. In the show, she eventually gained the unique ability of Ice Breath, which is, when you think about it, a preservation power, not a destructive one. Bubbles is easily neutral good. She's just a sweetheart who goes out of her way to help others, and the movie does a pretty good job of showing this too. In the main series, we learn that her unique power is the ability to speak Spanish, and no, that's not a joke. That's actually canon. Being a bilingual gringo was her power. Eventually, it expanded into general universal communication, and that kind of fits for her. She's the one who will talk first and use fighting as a last resort. Buttercup, being the tough and brash one, is chaotic good. She is the fastest to resort to violence and is the one with the shortest temper, but does mean well. She eventually got some more unique powers that are more destructive, but it does fit her well enough. And it's funny too. There's an episode where she starts beating the shit out of people and stealing their teeth so that she can make money from the Tooth Fairy, which is definitely neutral evil or chaotic evil, depending on who you ask. Overall, the Powerpuff Girls was a decent show. I don't really have a lot of complaints, and it's a pretty good thing when I can remember so many finer details just from basic memory alone. I didn't script like half of that nonsense. On the surface, it seems pretty superficial, but it communicates perfectly what the wants, needs, and personalities of all their characters are. We could use more shows like this. I'm just so happy that they never attempted to reboot the show because, they would probably try to tone down the violence or have a bunch of obnoxious referential humor, or God forbid, a writer's self-insert who one of the girls can have a crush on. Yes, that actually happened. Why the fuck does this exist? Thank you to the patrons, and I'll see you all next week for our final Cartoon Network hero.